They look delicious.
Welcome back to DM of Many Faces, where everyone has a seat at the table. My name is Josh. Sweet, salty, sour, bitter, umami.
I'm taking it a flavor town.
Flavor, or flavor. If the balance of these 5 elements is even slightly off, it can mean the difference between enjoying that mouthful or spitting it out in the face of those who prepared it. But that's not the entire story, is it? 2 people served the exact same dish at the exact same time will never enjoy it to the same extent. We're changing things like aesthetic, theming, execution, delivery, sometimes even the mechanics, all to fit our own personal tastes. Today's topic is all about flavoring in D&D, whether you're a veteran player just looking for inspiration, or a newer player that needs these things explained to you. Either way, this video is for you. Spells. I was a guest player in a campaign a few months ago. I was playing a paladin, my turn comes around, weapon attack, spell casting, divine smite, takes a bit of time. Warlock right up after me, I cast Eldritch Blast. That was it. That was their entire turn. So I turned to them and I asked them.
What does that look like to you?
And they kind of give me a blank stare, and then they start reaching for their player's handbook and turning to the spell page description, and I go, no, not what it says in the book. What does it look like when your character casts
Eldritch Blast.
There was a pause, and then they say to me, well, my patron is the Raven Queen, so maybe it looks like I shoot out 2 ravens in like a figure 8 pattern. They fly out and slam into this guy at the exact same time. Everybody at the table, myself included, nods and encourages them, and after that they really loosened up and started having more fun with their spell descriptions. It's that easy to make a simple cosmetic change, and it's that easy to encourage the other players at the table. Class abilities. At level 1, barbarians gain the ability to rage. This allows them to deal more damage, take more damage, and just generally hulk out. The name of rage implies that they're very angry, so most players flavor this as a berserker, a very angry warrior rushing out and dealing damage. In the Dimension 20 season, A Starstruck Odyssey, Barry 6 goes into a rage in one of the earlier episodes. Murph flavors his character, not going into an angry state, but going into what he calls the zone.
Pull the weight, ricochet off another building, and slam into the ground. Damage is halved because you are in the zone. You stand up with 6 hit points left.
It's brilliant because his character is not angry. He is just an 80s action hero doing crazy stunts. And I'm sure by this point the gears in your head are turning. How can I reflavor this ability? Or this one? Subclass. Early 5e subclasses are pretty hit or miss. Champion Fighter, Berserker Barbarian, Archfey Warlock. All of them garbage. So when I wanted to play a Warlock and have an Archfey patron, I was at a crossroads. Do I favor the flavor of the Fey? Or do I pick the Genie because it's better? For days I languished in agony, but then it hit me. If I can't find a mechanically viable subclass with the flavor that I'm looking for, I'll make one instead. And by make one instead, I mean Frankenstein the flavor of one onto the other. And thus was born Fable, mechanically a genie warlock with the Merid subclass, flavor-wise a warlock of an archfey, specifically an ice hag.
He's got a secret ingredient.
Actually, no, there is no secret ingredient. You can take any combination of subclasses and mix and match them to your heart's content. Background and appearance. Typically, your character's appearance is up to you. However, sometimes the mechanics simply don't line up with your character concept. Maybe you want to play a tiefling with cold resistance, but they only get fire resistance in the book, so you have to work with your DM to make that happen. Or maybe you've invented a creature that you want to play. The thing you want to play hasn't been adapted to that edition of D&D, or you're appropriating something from another system. Either way, working with the DM to kind of skin it onto another creature might be the way to go.
For the viewers at home, we just skinned it onto a half orc. But
Along a similar line would be any sort of magical transformation, such as polymorph or wild shape. This is your chance to really cut loose and design the appearance of what you're turning into to really reflect your character. Maybe it has specific features to it, maybe it's a creature that's not exactly in the book. Because I'll be honest, gang, if I see another owl familiar, giant ape transformation, or giant eagle, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I exaggerate to add flavor.
Because let's be honest here, what is the main population of tabletop RPG players? It's nerds. Nerds have special interests. If you're super into animals or dinosaurs, you should be incorporating that into your characters and your transformations. Why be a giant eagle when you could be a... Okay, you know what, just stick with giant eagle. Anyway, we were talking about appearance. A detailed description of your character's features and what is unique to them can go a long way in making them stand out.
The thing you probably notice about me, first of all, is my hair. My billowy white afro.
Sure, everybody starts with the same basic equipment, but what does your character's explorer pack look like? Are there unique patches or buttons of the places they visited? Is there a specific clothing style that people wear where they're from? If they're wearing armor or a shield, are there specific designs or a specific maker's mark that have been pressed into the metal? These minor details we've been discussing aren't that important on their own, but add them all together and you get a complete picture of your character. A challenge I like to give myself is to pick two characters that have similar mechanics and try to flavor them as differently as possible, see if the group picks up on it or not. If you can make two fighters or two monks feel different, you're probably doing it right.
He does exactly what I do, but better.
Campaign setting. If you were to say, Josh, look me in the eye right now and tell me your favorite D&D setting, I would likely say...
The world of Calorum.
Literally the most flavorful D&D setting ever made, Calorum is the setting for a Crown of Candy and the Ravening War. For those of you living under a rock candy, Calorum is what happens when you combine the cutthroat politics of a Game of Thrones with the cute aesthetics of Candyland. An aspect of what I like about Calorum is that every player character and NPC has the exact same stats. Everything on top of that is just flavor. Dimension 20 in general is a great case study for how to bring a unique concept to each of your D&D campaigns without necessarily having it all take place in one world. For the purposes of this video, I want to point out to all you dungeon masters out there that this concept can be extrapolated to pretty much anything. You could have a D&D campaign that takes place in your backyard and all the players are bugs and all the enemies will be related to that concept. Or a game where everybody is malfunctioning machinery like the Brave Little Toaster and they all have to return home and that's the point of the campaign. Or some other third thing. Realistically, you can make any concept work. This game is mostly taking place in our minds after all, and you're a very creative person. I know you'll come up with something great. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I hope you learned something, were entertained, or ideally both. Since my last video, I've acquired a new mic and some new software for editing, which makes things both more complicated but better. You'll see a 3-month gap between this video and my previous one. You can blame Tears of the Kingdom and Pikmin 4 for that. Also, the fact that I do this for a hobby and I'm not getting paid for it. I just like making these videos and I like D&D, so just kind of makes sense. That being said, one thing I would like to see is my subscriber count go up, so if you happen to make it this far, I'm just talking to try and get the video as close to 10 minutes as possible. There's no algorithm reason for that, I just feel like 10 is a nice round number. So, you know, go ahead if you're still listening to this, subscribe, please. Or don't. Honestly, it's not going to affect me. I'm still going to make more videos. Just depends whether you want to see them or not. And if you do, then great. If not, then, you know, I can't really change that. What am I going to do? Come through the screen and force your mouse over to the subscribe button? That's not going to happen. I'm currently fighting with my cat who wants to... I guess just wants attention, but I'm holding the mic in one hand and I'm fending the cat off with the other, and I'm keeping an eye on the clock here. We're getting close to 10 minutes here, so once again, if you're still listening, please do subscribe. You can hear the little bell of the cat. Please Just calm down, cat. Okay, about 5 seconds left, so please subscribe. If not, or you know what, check out my other videos. I probably should have said that beforehand. Bye.